back to another edition of the SBK Betting Podcast, where the temperatures are soaring, heat rising to over the 35-degree mark for this weekend, and that is complemented by the hot action. And very pleased to say that we've got Tom Collins, Ross Millar, back with me as always. Tom with a winning Stat Attack, our new feature. I'm pleased to see that that's continuing to roll on. So nice one, Tom. More of the same, we hope, this week.
Yeah, I hope so. I've got 2 Stat Attacks. They'll come at the end of the podcast. But yeah, it was Andrew Baldwin's week last week. Getting that winner at Chester, soul stopper. Nice to get a winner on the board, because otherwise in the feature races, we didn't have the most prolific of weeks, did we?
I know, but must say, I did mention Achilles. Didn't want to put her up. She did come a very good second, and that was part of Andrew Balding's good weekend. So hopefully she'll go one better next time. Our main feature race this week that we're going to dissect is always a bit of a lottery. It's for the 2-year-olds. It's the Super Sprint Stakes, which takes place at Newbury at 3:30. 5 furlongs is the trip. This race has been farmed over the years by Richard Hannon, Senior, and his son as well, who won the last year's renewal with Gabas, Happy Romance the year before. And it's always, you've got to have a 2-year-old with a bit of class, but also there are some hard luck stories in this race as well. So you've got to get your cut of the dice, really. And Ross, I didn't think that this was necessarily the best renewal of the race. I found it tricky to work out. Do you think Richard Hannon holds all the aces this year?
I think he's got chances. I think Miami Girl is short enough in the betting for what she's achieved. I'd have liked to have seen her dispatch Cuban Mistress with a bit more authority last time. But you just have to respect they know how to win this race. I mean, I think Maria Branwell is going to be hard to beat. She's clearly very well in at the way the race is framed. The two I've come down on, Eddie's Boy runs off 9 stone 2, so he would be effectively carrying more if it was a regular handicap. And he's been bang there in 2 good races, third at Royal Ascot in the Windsor Castle behind Little Big Bear, and then third in the Dragon Stakes at Sandown behind Rocket Rodney, who I think is a really smart horse, and the aforementioned Cuban Mistress. On both occasions, his last 100 yards has been his sort of weakest part of the race, and I'm just hoping that dropping back onto a less severe track can just see him perhaps last on a little bit longer. We mentioned Hannon. They've got Miami Girl. Well, she beat Cuban Mistress off level weights just under 2 lengths. Eddie's Boy gave Cuban Mistress £5 and was just a length and a bit behind. He gets £3 from Miami Girl, so I think he's overpriced against her. Then the other one I put up earlier in the week for my racing TV bit was Swift Asset, but he was 20-1 at the time. He's now around 6-7-1, so I wouldn't be going near him at that price. But what it has drawn me to is Safari Dream from our good friend the Millmans, who actually have broken the stranglehold of Fahy and Hannon in 2019 with Betty's Hope. And they run Safari Dream. Now, he was 3 lengths behind Swift Asset at Windsor, but he looked far more green than the Hannon horse. You know, when he was asked for his effort, he sort of floundered a little bit, carried his head a bit awkwardly. The last 100 yards, the penny looked to drop, and he really closed up to be beaten 3 lengths. He raced wide, didn't have cover early, at 20-1 there or thereabouts. I think he's a big price. He gets a £3 pull for the 3 lengths he was beaten. I think of the two, he's got the most improvement in him. He might just lack a bit of speed at a tactical part of the race, but if they go hard early and pace collapses, which he can do in these races, I think he could just run on through them to maybe hit the frame.
Okay, yeah, the Millman team won this in 2019 with Betty's Hopes. They know how to win this race, sandwiched in between another Richard Hannon winner in Ginger Nut in 2018. So it's interesting, and that reminds me, looking at weights and things, 8-4 for Betty's Hope, 8-5 for Happy's Romance, Gabas 8-10. You've got to go back, TC. I know you love a stat, you love a figure. You've got to go back to 2015 to have last horse that had over 9 stone. Lutham had 9 stone on his back, and Tiggy Wiggy, she had 9-1, and she was something exceptional. There has to be something slightly above average and very classy to win this race with a significant weight, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly that. Horses get put into these races based on their sales price. So, you get really well treated horses. And Maria Branwell, who heads the market, is one of those. Those towards the top of the weights don't tend to be the fancied horses, interestingly enough. Although Tiggy Wiggy was a standout, but she was a very, very classy sprinter. I think Maria Branwell wins this race. She's been tipped up everywhere already this week, and she's a reasonably short price. She's around 3-1 at the time of recording, but I think that's fully justified. Miami Girl's going to take plenty of heat in the market, and this filly Maria Branwell beat Miami Girl by a length of 3/4 at Royal Ascot. She now gets a £6 pull in the weights as well. I can't see any way that form's going to be reversed. Prior to that, in the National Stakes at Sandown, she beat a horse called Crispy Cat. Well, Crispy Cat would have gone very close in the Norfolk had he not sustained serious trouble in running when the Riddler came right across him. He'd have definitely been second, maybe even won that race. So the form stacks up really nicely. Maria Branwell's just the horse to beat. If you look at just official ratings, take improvement out of the matter at the time being. Obviously, all these horses are going to improve, but it's hard to know how much. Just on official figures, she's by far the horse to beat and deserves favoritism. She should be shorter than 3-1, really. The other horse I'm interested in has also a piece of form that ties in with Rocket Rodney, who Ross has already mentioned. Dare to Hope is the horse, trained by Richard Fahey, who's won this race 3 times in the last 10 years. Dare to Hope actually beat Rocket Rodney quite easily on debut, actually. It looked a bit green in the early stages, but picked up well and moved away in the closing stages to win decisively by over a length. Now, Rocket Rodney's gone on to better things. Maybe he wasn't ready to win that race first time up, but Dare to Hope was. He then had 2 months off. He came back at Ripon, raced furthest away from the standside rail, which is not ideal. He didn't really handle the undulations at the Garden racetrack either. Finished second to a horse that's subsequently disappointed. But I'm willing to put a line through that. I think he's open to plenty of improvement at a double-figure price. He could be the one that challenges Maria Branwell for victory here.
Okay, interesting. I think a lot of confidence behind Maria Branwell's, as you'd imagine, with an official rating of 100, but 8 stone 11 on the back. Don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out that she's very much well in. Okay, I will take you on though with Miami Girl. I think someone needs to, and I think she is a better price. The only thing that's not really in her favor is the weight that's on her back. She'll have 9.3, so all the stats are against her. But what she did at Newmarket on debut was really, really impressive. And I don't think there was any fluke, but she's the kind of horse that needs a race to be set up right for her. She's quite keen going sort. She's not the easiest. And this race could be ideal for her considering the pace that they'll go. I think Rosser just needs to let everything happen in front of them and come with a bit of a late charge. Yes, she might not have been at her absolute best with Cuban Mistress behind her, but that 3-runner race wouldn't have been ideal for her. She's definitely, I believe, one of the class acts in the race, and I think she just will be a better price than Maria Branwell, who'll be over back because, as TC says, everything is going for her. So that's my main selection for the Hannon team as well, considering their form in the race is such. The other one is a real shot in the dark, and that's Run CMC for Grant Tour, who I have so much respect for, especially bringing his horses down to the south. He's still running on an excellent run of form. This also will have 8 stone 8 on his back. He overcame a stumble start at Musselburgh last time out to win sort of going away. It wasn't much of a race, but the trainer actually won it with a horse called Showtime Mahomes last year before coming to this race. That didn't work out for him. The race was such a muddle last year. And I just think that this is probably quite a nice horse. It'll be a huge price if he can get some extra places. And I just do I do think that could be just something to nibble at because this race can throw up some good each way prices. So that is the Super Sprint. That will be at 3:30 at Newbury. There is a plenty of racing throughout up and down the country, also in Ireland as well. So this gives us an opportunity to get our naps in. So Ross, where is your nap on Saturday?
My nap, I'm going back to the jumps, Jess. I promise, have a couple of naps lined up on the flat, and none of them were declared. So I promise I was looking on the flat. But I've gone to Market Race in the 241, the Irish Raider Cirque Royale. I think he's a really smart horse. He absolutely subbed to Hastings last time at Kelso. He was 122 rated. He beat him an easy 5 lengths. He's only rated 123 now. Ted Hastings has since gone on to absolutely bolt up at Cartmel. This horse loves quick ground. Noel McParlin takes £3 off. He's an amateur, but only in name. He's a very, very competent jockey. And this horse is a 94 rated flat performer. I think 123 as well within range. I'm surprised he's not favourite at the time of recording. He's second favourite. I think he takes all the beating. I think he's a strong fancy for a nap in the 241 at Market Raising.
Well, I'm not sure how much I agree with this jump racing with this weather as it is, and it might not even be on considering what we've got, but committed to the cause nonetheless. Ross Millar at Market Raisin and TC.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with a flat, unsurprisingly, and that is Sense of Power in the 4:31 at Newmarket. I don't know what price he's going to be, probably short, but I think he's the best bet of the day. He was sent off a real warm order first time up last year at Kempton. Ran a great race for Charlie Appleby, finished second, finished against the inside rail, just a place you do not want to be at Kempton. Got beat by a horse called Lassa Dude, trained by Sir Michael Stout, who's now rated 94. The third home was Blueberry Hill, rated 82. The fourth home was Night Glass, rated 75. Convection was fifth, rated 72. And Distinction was sixth, rated 75. You get a pretty good idea of how good Sense of Power is based on the horses that finished around him. It kind of pitches him in at a mid-80s rating, and that should be good enough to win this maiden. Charlie Appleby's got a good record at Newmarket, exceptional record this year, in fact. And I think he's going to be a real tough horse to beat. Sense of Power in the 4:31 at Newmarket.
There's a horse that's running in the 3:10 at the Curragh, which is their big sprint race. And it's fascinating, actually, the Sapphire Stakes, because Equilateral, after his alarmingly unfortunate run in last time at Sandown, and Munies is in there as well after her really good run in the King Stan Stakes. But I really like Jer Lyons' horse is Geocentric, another filly. She's really hardy, she's massively unexposed. I've just seen that Colin Keane is actually on the horse of Jack Davison's Muniesta, so he's gone against this horse Geocentric. I'm not sure is necessarily in my favour, but I do think that she's been left fresh. She's a filly with a huge future ahead of her, and I think I like her chances against some of the older horses at the Curragh on Saturday. Plays always gives us an opportunity to mention as well how SBK has placed only odds on all races, so we love a big price. Ross, have you found one? Where is it? Is it over the jump still?
Well, it's in the 3:14 at Market Raisin, but let's hope that common sense prevails, and it's the 11:14 at Market Raisin. We have that plenty over here in France, where we get racing early in the morning before the sun comes up, and who knows, it can happen. So maybe, just maybe, that common sense can prevail in the UK as well. But the horse I like is the 12-year-old Peregrine Run. He's the class horse in the race. He was as high as 155 just over a year ago. He's a real honourable horse, wins on the flat, wins over hurdles, wins over fences, loves quick ground. He's been running really well off this mark of 139 in competitive Irish handicaps. And we know that Irish handicaps are more competitive than UK handicaps, let alone summer UK handicaps. He gets to race off the same mark here as he would in Ireland. There's no Irish tax being added. He's a decent double figure price, and I think he's more than capable of hitting the frame.
Okay, yeah, such an admirable horse, been around for so many seasons at this stage, and gives it his all. So that's Peregrine Run, 2 jump selections for a nap and a place play. Finally back to Tom.
Yeah, I think I'm spending too much time talking to Ross Millar because I'm also going to be looking at the jumps here and the same race as well, the 3:14 at Market Raisin. I'm going to go for Statuario. The Summer Plate is a great race for each way punting or place punting because there's just so many horses that have a good chance in the field. Wide open market is exactly what you're going to get this year. Statuario is going to be a double figure price for trainer Peter Bowen, who has an excellent record at Market Raisin. Now, he's probably got a more fancy runner in the field in Frankie de Burle, but I prefer Statuario. Between October 2020 and June 2022, they ran this horse 10 times over on left-handed tracks. This horse cannot jump on a left-handed track. They were doing it obviously I'm guessing for a handicap mark, because there's no way that horse can win going left-handed. He jumps miles out to the right every time, just loses considerable ground and momentum, yet he still ran well in defeat on a few occasions. Last time out, they finally reverted him to a right-handed track, Market Raisin in fact, and he ran a really good race, finished second to Marla's Promise. He had to switch left and right in the straight, wasn't beaten too far and hit the line powerfully. Gets a £2 turn in the weights with that horse. I think that should be enough to reverse the form. And I think he's a real live player in here. He must show plenty at home, because when he used to run on the flat, he ran in a Group 3 on his second start. He also ran in a Grade 1 at Aintree on his first season hurdling. So he must show plenty at home. I think he's well handicapped. And the fact that they're now going right-handed makes me want to back Statuario each way in the 3:14 at Market Raisin.
Also, the selection of Sean Bowen. I know that Peter Bowen's got 2 brilliant jockey sons in James and Sean, but the unfancied one at the betting is Sean's choice at Statuario, and James is on Frankie de Burle. So Don't know what the way that you read that, but Sean is going great guns at the moment. So yeah, the Summer Plate, never to be missed. It's a great race, especially for the Bowen family. So that's the price plays and naps. My price play is going to go with Mr. Wagyu for John Quinn and Jason Hart, who I'm not sure has got many other eyes at the Curragh, but I think he's going over full Mr. Wagyu and Mr. Wagyu only in the Scurry handicap at the Curragh at 235. A horse who is just one of those horses that you can send out to war with. He just turns up everywhere, has been on the go since first race he could run in at Newmarket earlier this season. He obviously won on Derby Day, I think it was, at Epsom, and just a really gutsy performance. And then I think his fourth place effort in the Wokingham was a brilliant effort behind the likes of Jumpy and Rohan. And Jumpy, I thought, put in a really fine effort last time out as well. It was a big price that day. And I think that he just probably was just like slightly too keen to. This race should set up nicely for him. I like to hope that he might be not get too much shorter than about 8 or 9 to 1. Yeah, I think it's just a nice bit of placing from the Quinn team, taking him over to Ireland. So yeah, something for everyone, bit of jumps, bit of the Curragh, and obviously Newbury as well, but plenty of good action and good field sizes to get us excited for this weekend. The Stat Attack did so well last week. So TC, I'm back to you before we end for something that's got your attention.
Yeah, I've got 2 stat attacks this week, one on the flat, one on the jump, something for everyone, hopefully 2 winners as well. The first stat attack comes at Newbury, and it's trainer Charlie Appleby. He's 7 from 15, 47% this season with his runners at the track. He's also got a 22% strike rate in his career with his older horses at Newbury as well. He only has one runner at Newbury on Saturday, and that is Man of Promise in the Group 3 Hackwood Stakes at 256. I think he should go well at a decent price. The other stat attack is at Cartmel. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I love this combination at Cartwell. Jimmy Moffat, Charlotte Jones, they've got a phenomenal record, especially this season with horses they team up with at Cartmel. James Moffat, 8 from 28, 29% with runners at Cartmel this year. £1 level stakes profit of plus £8.50. Charlotte Jones, 8 from 18, 44% with a £1 level stakes profit of £18.50. And a 31% strike rate at the track in her career as a jockey. She rides it better than everyone else. The pair team up have on a number of occasions across the card. I think the main horse you need to focus on is a horse called Vocal Duke. He runs in the 229 at Cartmel. Maybe he'll go off a nice price and provide the combination with another winner.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other jockey that really rides at Cartmel. She's brilliant. She's absolutely fabulous. So a bit of Cartmel to add into that as well. So thank you for that. Let's hope your stat attack keeps rolling on. So that's it for this week's podcast. A real good spin around to find something for everyone, especially, as I said, for that feature race for the Super Sprint. A reminder that new SBK customers can get £30 in free bets by depositing £10. T's and C's always apply. As ever, as always, we've got plenty of content coming out of our YouTube channel, so make sure to get on and watch what's out, what's the most recent updates that are out, as well from our ambassadors. And remember that to subscribe, tell all your friends. We'll be back again next week, and we are gearing up for Goodwood, a brilliant festival, 5 days. Really means that we've got to the height of the summer. So hopefully we'll be back to give you a little bit more after we, fingers crossed, a good weekend this weekend. So thanks to TC and to Ross, and we'll see you next week.